It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Yeah. Yeah. I've been down so long it look like up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me. Straight up to my face. Straight up to my face. I've been down so long it look like up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me. Straight up to my face. Straight up to my face. Something ain't right when we talking. Something ain't right when we talking. Look like you hiding your problems. Really, you never was solid. No, you can't son me. You won't ever get to run me. Just when look, gotta reach out, reach back like 1-3, like 1-3. Yeah. That's when they smile in my face. Whole time they wanna take my place. Whole time they wanna take my place. Whole time they wanna take my place. Yeah, I know they wanna take my place. I can tell that love is fake. I don't trust a word you say. How you wanna click up after your mistakes? Look you in the face and it's just not the same. I've been down so long it look like.
Welcome back in. You are locked into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Fake love, not what we have here going on at KBLA. No, sir. Thank you guys. We appreciate all the love. It's the holiday season, so we want to, rest in that, get all up in that. But MC Hammer didn't. We're going to get into that because, I really like Hammer. And I'm really sad that we didn't get to see him bust a move, but I kind of feel him on his explanation. We'll get into that shortly. Listen, you are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Hour 2, like I said, we're going to get into this Hammer story. But before we do, I mentioned that a legendary singer is going to be hanging him up and is headed out on his farewell tour, okay? So Keith Sweat has announced the early dates for his Make It Last Forever farewell tour. It kicks off February 1st at the Target Center in Minneapolis, and he's going to have stops in Chicago, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Philly, and at least the first half of the tour wraps up in Oklahoma City, March 2nd. It will include SWV, Tyrese, and Pretty Ricky as the opening acts. And, Keith is saying goodbye to R&B. I mean, man, Keith Sweat, the Make It Last Forever album dropped in 87. So, I mean, that's some work. And really, I kind of feel like, it's just been in the last recent sort of years that he has resurged and sort of stepped back out. But I'm glad I got to see him on the Legacy Tour. I don't know if I'll make it out to this other round, but, shout out to Keith Sweat. I have good memories to his music. And, I don't know if some of his songs could rock out in 2024 if they came out today. Jams as they are. I think about the opening line of one of my favorites, Right in the Wrong Way. You may be young, but you're ready. Yeah, probably not going to get too much airtime in 2023. But shout out to Keith Sweat. I also want to bring some acknowledgement to an actress named Ellen Holly. She was one of the first Black women to appear on a soap opera. That was One Life to Live. in a leading role capacity. She passed away, last Wednesday at the age of 92 in New York. She played the groundbreaking character of Carla Gray on One Life to Live, as I mentioned, from 1968 to 1980, and then came back from 83 to 85. She was hand-chosen for the role by Agnes Nixon, who created All My Children, One Life to Live, I believe The Edge of Night too, which is an old soap opera that came on back in the day. And she was chosen after she wrote an opinion piece in the New York Times called How Black Do You Have to Be? And at that time, she talked about the difficulty finding roles as a light-skinned black woman. And, you know, it was a bold piece during a bold time. And it's interesting to think that those conversations are still happening in a different sort of way, kind of turned around, but always involved when it comes to us and representation. At any rate, I just wanted to, bring light to that, sending love and light to her family and acknowledgement, because a lot of times we often, highlight the big ones, the notables that are sort of icons in the industry, but there's lots of people that were still doing the work, taking the steps, taking a stand along the way, and I think it's important to pay homage to them as well. So, peace to her family, and thank you for your contributions and for, standing up to the world. Okay, listen. So much happened over the weekend. Well, I think this is actually today. Congratulations go out to Sierra and her husband, Russell Wilson. They welcomed their baby girl, Amora Princess Wilson. She and her older sister share the same middle name, which is also mommy's middle name. So cute. Got a little George Foreman-esque business going on there. She was 9 pounds, 1 ounce. So baby girl was a big baby, not a lightweight, and mommy and baby are doing fine. So cute. They have matching sets now, 2 girls, 2 boys, all adorable. Congratulations to them. All right, now WeTV, they seem to be procuring a lot of former VH1 stars, and a lot of VH1 stars that were on shows like Basketball Wives and Atlanta Exes. So the next up at WeTV, it's announced that a new reality show is dropping next year, and it's going to be surrounding Matt Barnes. He was on the OG Basketball Wives with his girlfriend, fiance, and later wife at the time, Gloria Gavon. And he is currently dating he's engaged to supermodel Beverly Johnson's daughter, Ananza Sims. They have a blended family, and they are going to be coming to WeTV next year, and we're gonna see what happens. I don't know. I would think Matt would be a little sketchy after the havoc that reality TV raked over his relationship the last time, but we'll see you give it a go. When we come forward, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Boom, boom. KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you a Christmas season that is merry and bright. Happy holidays.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment, It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with one of the panelists, the owner of Kids Love. Take a listen.
So Kids Love, KIDSLUV, is a first-to-market zero-sugar, vitamin-enhanced functional beverage for kids.
So the zero sugar is really important because if not, the sugar gets on the teeth, it can cause cavities. So as a mom, I love this vitamins and hydration in one. Tell us what's happening here with Chase Bank today.
So I would say, I think what Chase is trying to do is create a community actually for entrepreneurs, a place where people can go. They have the space to do it. It's a beautiful space. And to be able to have these conversations. There are so many benefits to being a women-owned and certified business, from a standpoint of getting into stores, not paying the slotting fees of what it takes to be in stores. So I think Chase is trying to bring awareness to a lot of the things that people just don't know about, that not only the bank can help, but outside of the bank, their relationships can help create.
That's beautiful. And I know, this is how we build equity in communities of color, is kind of spreading that information and that knowledge. So thank you for being here today and doing your part and letting these women know that it is possible.
For KBLA 1580, I'm Maisha Cairo in the community with Chase.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So prior to us coming forward, I was sharing that Matt Barnes and his fiance, slow down, girl, Ananza Sims, have a new reality show coming to WeTV. It's called The Barnes Bunch. And as I mentioned, they have a blended family. So Ananza has 3 children from her previous marriage, Ava, David, and Benjamin. And then Matt, of course, has his 2 twin boys with Gloria Gavon. And they have a son together who is, I believe he just turned 5. The relationship hasn't always been smooth. A couple years back, they had some very public breakups and restraining orders. And Anansa got caught, doing some things for attention, as far as taking some pictures off the internet and acting like she was taking off someplace. Very public things. So, again, surprised but shouldn't be that they're taking this to reality TV. So we'll see what happens, what it's going to be giving. And as a side note, I mentioned that WeTV has a lot of programming now that seems like a couple of years ago probably would have been on VH1, or that some of the stars are actually people that were on VH1 shows. Part of the reason for that is that there are several executives who were at VH1 during the 2010s to early 2020s that saw the rise in Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, those type of shows on there. And they're now at WeTV, and WeTV's programming has definitely, over the past couple of years, gotten a little warmer as far as who's featured on the network. So we will see, as I said, what comes of that. So speaking of streaming services, well, I wasn't, but All Black is where you'll be able to stream that, and most WeTV features. But I don't know if you guys have checked out a movie. It was the #1 movie on Netflix this weekend. Stars Julia Roberts, and it's called Leave the World Behind. And it was produced by Barack and Michelle Obama, amongst others, for their Higher Ground Productions. And it also stars Ethan Hawke, Marshala Ali, and Kevin Bacon. And it's adapted from a 2020 novel of the same name. And it centers on a family, and they go to their getaway, luxurious rental home, and it takes an ominous turn when there are several cyber attacks, and it knocks out all the devices, and two strangers show up at the door. And basically, chaos ensues. If you are a conspiracy theorist, you may not want to watch this movie because some feel like there's a particular breakdown of how the government sets up for chaos and things to happen. And if you look at it, we've kind of had those things play out. So some people are saying that the film is actually preparing us for what is inevitably going to happen. I don't know about that. I actually haven't checked it out yet. It's award season, so I've been screening a bunch of screeners, but I'm going to get to it. So we will get more into that when I do check it out. Speaking of, I forgot to mention the Golden Globe annual nominations were announced today. And a lot of people are upset that the film The Color Purple was not nominated for Best Musical or Comedy. They are wondering if it is backlash from the woke era. What I will say is that Fantasia was nominated for Best Actress. Danielle Brooks was nominated for Supporting Role. And I think that's it. Coleman Domingo was nominated for Best Actor Award, but it was for his film Rustin, not for The Color Purple. I think those two performances probably canceled each other out, and they were either going to award him one or the other, but probably not both. I will have interviews coming up this week with Taraji, who plays Suge, Fantasia, and Danielle Brooks, who plays Sophia this week, and a review of the movie. So make sure that you are tapped in for that later this week, because I did get a chance to see the film and talk to them about the performances. And I think it's going to be an interesting conversation, as well as I think I mentioned there's another film that is coming out which stars Jeffrey Wright called American Fiction. And it also includes in that cast Tracy Ellis Ross, Sterling K. Brown, and Issa Rae, amongst others. So I have interviewed with Sterling and Jeffrey Wright as well. So we'll be checking those out. American Fiction is really good, y'all. You guys should get into that one. All right, let's talk a little MC Hammer, right? Because I personally have always loved Hammer. I'm a dancer, though, so it makes sense. It tracks. I felt Hammer's movement. If I could have been a Hammer dancer, I would have been up there. Pop it, pop it. Name put me in the mix. What? And Oaktown 357. Look, they did. I told you one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life was headlined by MC Hammer and included Boyz II Men, Jodeci, and TLC. One of the absolute best concerts I've ever seen, right? Hammer was a performer, and it was about having a good time, right? And he did things to make him stand out. Those baggy diaper pants or those little genie pants, wasn't really with that, but it was a movement. Biker shorts or those, I don't know. I think for men, especially at that time, probably would rather him have been in the little Hammer pants, but I feel it, Andy.
I think the pants were necessary. I was watching a couple of MC Hammer videos, interviews. I believe he was on the Oprah show. Mm-hmm. And, Oprah was like, could you show us how, some basic dances or whatnot? And, of course, he hit the Running Man and all that jazz. But, the bagginess of the clothes, it just made the dancing look better. So I think there was a reason behind it.
I think so, too. And it definitely made him stand out. And if you think about it, I was really going back because, as I said, I watched the Celebration of Hip Hop last night. Amazing performances. Side note, Rakim, we just talked about him last week being a change maker as far as hip hop goes. Black Thought. I don't really think about Black Thought too much. Not for any other particular reason, but I appreciate his music. But I just, it's not someone I think about. I'll tell you what, though. Watching him perform last night, that breath control, that diction, so many of those performances last night, it is just a reminder of why sometimes we give this new generation a hard time about their performance, because these people, we've seen it consistently. These veterans of hip hop are close to 50, at 50, over 50, and performing at peak optimal performance. They're giving us a show, they're giving us breath control, choreography, and they're not running out of breath 2 lyrics in, and wasn't no track to that. So I don't know. Andy?
Speaking of Black Thought, please tell me you saw his 10-minute freestyle on Hot 97 some years ago.
I don't think so.
Whenever you get the chance, whenever you get an opportunity, please take the time to listen to that 10-minute freestyle by Black Thought. I don't know if it was technically a freestyle or a written, but dude was going bonkers.
He was going nuts.
I mean, 10 minutes just rapping, flowing,
I can't even
rhyming.
Imagine. I can't.
With clarity, diction. Come on.
I mean, listen, it also was a reminder of, I put this on Twitter, X. I don't know if there's another rapper outside of Will Smith, and you guys give me names, feel free, because I couldn't think of any, that had a serious flow, right? But was giving you these party jams, just feel good stuff. Summertime, brand new funk. Brand new funk was a joint. Getting jiggy with it. Miami, there's a couple of others I'm probably forgetting, but Will show why he was a king.
Are you talking clean records?
Yes.
Okay.
Clean, that's what I'm saying. Clean, family friendly. I'm not talking about, that can do that type of thing, but he still had a flow. Like, you think about with Will Smith and, Fresh Prince, because we're talking hip hop, and he had flow. He had his voice didn't sound, weak delivering the lines. If you really listen to the lyrics, he's spitting, right? However, for the most part, no profanity, clean, family-friendly subjects. It's not really about busting guns or whatever. But you didn't look at Will Smith and say, he's not really an MC. He can't. You didn't feel, even though he claimed right up to the line as far as satire with his songs and his rap, it still was a respectability to it.
I got a rapper for you.
Who?
Kool Moe Dee.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. Where's
flow?
His flow?
Clean?
But not clean. Kool Moe Dee was not family friendly, and I
You're
listen.
talking family friendly.
Yeah, I'm talking like that. Like that wasn't considered. Kool Moe Dee wouldn't be considered clean cut. Maybe that's a better word. Maybe LL. Maybe you could put LL in there.
See, but
oh, no.
What do you describe clean? Because LL was pretty vicious himself,
exactly.
too.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can't really think of anybody outside of Will Smith.
Because when I think of clean, I just think of no cursing. You could talk street stuff, but, keep it clean. That's why Kool Moe Dee stood out to me.
Kool Moe Dee doesn't curse?
He does not.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh, well.
See, I just learned something. I have to think about, and I know something, Wild Wild West, and
if I'm not mistaken, he obviously battled LL,
right?
And I
remember all that.
And I think one of the lines was basically saying how, I don't have to cuss in order to get my point across.
I mean, those battles were, listen. I remember there was this show called Graffiti Rock. Well, it was a pilot. It was supposed to be like a hip hop Soul Train. And they only really aired one episode. And the episode they aired, it had like Run DMC performed on it. Shannon performed, Let the Music Play. And the Treacherous Three performed on there. It was, I can't remember who the guy was with him. It was before Kool Moe Dee was solo, right? I didn't even realize that Kool Moe Dee was in Beach Street for years at the Christmas rap thing. Ho, ho, ho. Because, you're so used to seeing him in his shades. I will say that demeanor-wise, Kool Moe Dee had one of the coldest stances because he would just stand there and spit. not doing too much, but still commanding it, and there was still an energy to it. That's a special talent.
Heavy D.
Heavy D. That is a great one. That's it. Thank you, Andy. That is a great one. Heavy and Will. They're Heavy and the Fresh Prince. Excuse me. He's only Will when, Big Willie. Y'all get me. Fahima says, Jill, I suspect MC Hammer can't bust a move any longer, and this is the source of his reluctance to take part in the festivities. After all, he did go hard, and even Prince had knee replacement.
He can still bust a move.
I was about to say, I don't think that is it at all. One, Hammer didn't tour as long as Prince did. So I think that there's that. Like, in the grand scheme of things, Hammer's time wasn't that long. And I think Hammer can still get it even at 60. We're going to get into why he says that he didn't participate. And the thing is, on a G level, I feel him. But, I kind of don't. The ghost OGJ Speed said Will Smith cursed. Yeah, we know. He cursed in "You Saw My Blinker, Chick." There's a couple of curse words sprinkled in and out every now and again, but really he kept it clean. And it started, we know, as an accident because the label picked parents just don't understand. And he made that record kind of as a goof. His Class of '88 podcast, really, really good. And when you think about it, Heavy D had some hits in '88, right? So did Rakim, obviously. Hammer came out. I think Let's Get It Started came out '88, maybe '89, like the early trendings of it. So I don't know, but we're going to get into it. And also, I actually also have a clip from an Arsenio Hall show that took place October, I think 8th, 1993, that is along these topic lines that will illustrate the point that I am going to make for you. Forensic Accountant says Hammer brought a lot of it on himself with Let's Get It Started. When it comes to straight up rocking, I'm second to none. From Dougie Fresh to LL to DJ Run. But that was hip hop. That was hip hop back then, Forensic. And still, even in that is not why I feel that Hammer has the beat. Everybody called everybody out at that time period. That was just hip hop. Curtis the OGJ Speed said Curtis Blow. Curtis Blow doesn't count, and shout out to Curtis Blow, as I've mentioned. View Park. Why doesn't Curtis Blow count? Because his career wasn't long enough, and he was early hip hop. Yeah, he set the pace, but did Curtis Blow I'll throw on basketball. I'll throw on the breaks, but are you turning on any of Curtis Blow's songs currently? Did Curtis Blow pop up at any of these 50th hip hop anniversary specials? He should have, by the way, because he was one of the first solo rap superstars, but he didn't. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. We're going to get more into this MC Hammer story, and of course, more comments from you. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is on the other side.
They smile in my face. Whole time they wanna take my place. Whole time they wanna take my place. Whole time they wanna take my place. Yeah, I know they wanna take my place. I can tell that love is fake. I don't trust a word you say.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. With Hanukkah starting, New York City police are beefing up security following a huge rise in hate crimes. Mayor Eric Adams says there's elevated security around public menorah displays and all lighting events to allow New Yorkers to celebrate Hanukkah safely. Adams, who is black, gathered with religious leaders at City Hall to call for unity and peace following a rash of hate crime incidents against Jewish and other religious communities. The number of hate crime and bias incidents has surged since the October Hamas attack on Israel. On the one-year mark of her release from a Russian jail, Brittany Griner is recognizing others who have been in her position. In a statement released from the basketball star and her wife, she highlighted Americans Paul Whelan and Evan Gershkovich. They are still wrongfully detained in Russia, among others. The Griners urged Americans to send a letter or call a representative about one of the many Americans being held away from their families this holiday season. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
jet what you really want this holiday. The experience of a crowd-free private terminal at Burbank Airport. Check in 20 minutes before takeoff and land in hotspots like Denver, Boulder, Las Vegas, and more. Depart from the ordinary now with JSX Air.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Hughley, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you. That's on the real.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
choreography is immaculate. I'm going to tell you. But you really want to get up and hit your Running Man and your cold little spin when Hammer comes on. Pump it. Let's get started. Can't touch this. Hammer's a legend. Let's not do that, okay? Let's not do that. He's legendary. Andy?
I told my girl that we going to learn that Pumps and the Bumps choreography.
Man.
Not the one where he's in the Speedos, but when he got the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Man, they killed.
They did. My homegirl is dancing for him to the left. She used to dance for a lot of people. Her name is Othan. Shout out to Othan. You have seen her in several videos. Know her from high school. She was getting busy. They were, tearing it up with the beanies. Hammer was like, that's when he let the world know. Listen, don't let those baggy pants and those Speedos and that thing fool you. It's a full thug under here. Sorry for anybody who thinks the thug word is disrespectful, but you all know what I'm saying.
He was thugging, though.
I mean, he was. We've heard MC Search has talked about it. Method Man and Redman have talked about it. Suge. Hammer was not to be played with, real life.
Can I shout out the ladies in that video?
Yeah.
The way they were shaking their body. Pre-BBLs.
Man.
But, it was some jiggle. It was some jiggle to the, I was just like, happen. Wow, okay, shout out.
Listen, that was inspo. You put that up like, I need to get into that. Let's get into some of these comments. Shout out to Only Woman 516. I think that is what your name said. These creative spellings. Sometimes I'm unsure. But mention De La Soul is a group that had some feel good music, but was still relatively clean. Ghost OG Speed says that I'm a hater. Listen, I'm not hating. Facts over feelings. I always deal with facts. Curtis Blow, first rapper signed to a major label, first rapper to go gold. Never had a #1 hit though. All right. No shade, right? So what? Curtis dropped on the scene 80, 79, 80. Think If I Ruled the World, which dropped in 85, was his top charting single. And then after that was kind of it. No shade, no tea. I'm just saying, he was the first. And again, I told you, I love Curtis Blow. If I Ruled the World, basketball is one of my favorites. Who wasn't on a cheerleading squad and didn't have that song playing in some part of your routine? It had to go down, but, he just wasn't in the same level as I'm speaking of, even though he was legitimately a star and, kind of a sex symbol too. I didn't realize Curtis had his shirt off and stuff on the cover of his first album. So there you go. Pretty Brown Mimi says, and I haven't seen Luther Campbell at all. The Southern rappers haven't really been invited to the hip hop anniversary events. They have been. That's not quite true. Now, there were some that were upset that they didn't really have a lot. And Luke was actually at the 50th anniversary thing last night. Regina Hall had a joke for him and shouted him out as giving lots of young ladies instruction on all the different ways you could pop different various body parts. So, Regina Hall's funny. Andy?
Yeah, and your boy Andre 3 Stacks denied all the invitations that he received.
So did Hammer. But remember, we talked about that when we talked about him saying that he didn't have anything to say at this point in his life as far as hip hop. And I know you he should have just came and performed.
It's a celebration of hip hop. That's
agree.
it. We're not telling you to create new music, although people want new music from you, new hip hop music. Let me specify that. You know what I mean? This is a celebration of your contribution to the game. Why not come out and just perform a couple songs?
I think he's not there at all. I don't think that hip hop moves him in any kind of way.
I guess so. It must have been some traumatic experiences that he went through then.
I think he's afraid of not being able to duplicate that success.
We just asked you to perform Rosa Parks' Hey Ya, the prototype. That's all we're asking, homie.
I agree. Me personally, I want to hear Southern Playalistic Cadillac music. Players Ball. Listen, Players Ball was my... As the endo leaves my body, where's the party? Look, that was my jam. And that's a holiday song at that. D Black 909 says, a lot of them dissed him over the years. Hammer a real G. He hasn't got time for the fakeness. You didn't want me then, don't want me now. Hip hop became everything they dissed him for. So we're going to get into that. We're going to play. Well, first, Andy, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I understand that sentiment because as big as Hammer was, he did get a lot of flack.
And that's what we're gonna get into. Baller Not One says love and respect for Hammer, the OG. And Forensic Accountant says, how can we leave Dougie out when we mention clean MCs who made party records? Dougie Fresh. That's a great. Dougie Fresh had some raps. He had some raps. He was rapping on some of the songs. The show was him and Slick. I know he was mostly beatbox. What's the one where he first started doing the Dougie dance and he was in the? Oh, I can't remember the name of the song right now.
The show?
No. It was after the show. It was when he was solo. He was Gosh, what is it? It's going to come to me. Let me really quickly, you guys said no Southern performers performed. They did. Some of the people on the lineup, LL, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Jermaine Dupri. That's Southern hip hop right there. Too Short, Lil Boosie performed. He also said that it was so meaningful for him to be on that stage with all those legends and to represent. It meant a lot to him. They had De La Soul. D-Nice was the DJ. Dougie Fresh performed. JJ Fab was on the stage. Big Daddy Kane, Diggable Planet. Shout out to Ladybug. She looked amazing. I shared you guys that I worked on that album. Spinderella, Arrested Development, Black Sheep, Loonies, Roxanne Shante, Glorilla, MC Light, Latifah, Too Short. So they did their little thing. They did their Thug Thizzle with that. Andy? Oh, no. Okay, so I don't know. Do we have enough time? Can we play the Hammer tip before we go to break? Okay, so we're going to play what MC Hammer said on why he turned down all invitations to Hip Hop 50 events.
Heard me talk about no stories on nobody's platform. You ain't heard me go to none of these Hip Hop 50, and just for the record, I got invited to every one. But I really don't have the patience for the fakeness. I'm really, I'm really 60 years old. So I can't really, I can't get with the fakeness of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do it with a young cat, but I can't come around old cats and still be pretending. What you want me to call you? Six shooter. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Ain't none of your bodies turned up yet.
Unless you're Puff.
I just can't do it. But I might get, I don't know, but Pac got me out here today. My first hip-hop 50 event that I said yeah to, and the only one, is to come and say how much I love Pac, right?
So that was at the street naming ceremony that took place in Oakland a few weeks ago for Tupac. We know, Pac and Hammer had beef initially, but they came together and worked that out. Listen, it's a lot happening in the chat right now. I see Forensic Accountant shouted out those girls who danced for BBD. That's straight ahead from LA. Shout out to them. Those were like my big sisters because I was a dancer. And I actually was in the same competition that they were when it was a bunch of groups, like the guys from the Far Side were in it. They danced against them. It came down to them and straight ahead for the dance battle to be BBD's backup dancers. It took place at Paradise 24 in the summer of '89. There's more questions in the chat. This is lit up. Christmas rap, Curtis Blow. Luke, where was Big Boy of Outkast? I didn't know Luke was there. I missed him. Curtis lives on every time somebody drops next too close. I mean, there's a lot of songs that sample Curtis Blow. Most famously, Nas, If I Ruled the World. Imagine that. So I'm not saying he doesn't have relevance. I'm not saying he didn't do his thing. But what I'm saying is the stratosphere that I am talking about, I don't think Will Smith and Curtis Blow are in the same conversation when it comes to hip hop as far as the feeling that I'm talking about. But it's not for lack of appreciation for Curtis Blow. When we come forward, we're going to get into this MC Hammer thing and my position on it. And then we're going to play an old interview that contains Ice-T, which one of those guys from, who is it? Grandmaster Flash. Yeah, I was about to call him Grandmaster Melly Mel, mixing the people up. Can't do that. And MC Light on Arsenio Hall. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
We wish you a holiday season filled with peace and love and a new year rich with blessings. Mask up and stay safe. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
People making lists, buying special gifts.
Did you know that every year
public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, music, and more. Learn more at DonorsChoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, yeah, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. I appreciate the YouTube chat because they are lit and they're dropping a lot of information. So the song that I was trying to think of, shout out to Forensic Accountant, is Keep Rising to the Top. Give it all you got, give it all you got. So, and Dougie was hitting the Dougie in that video hardcore. Also, shout out to T.O. Moss because they mentioned All the Way to Heaven, which was another good Dougie Fresh jam. All the Way to Heaven. I hope you guys can catch the vibe as I'm doing my own versions of these. I know they're not always going to be exactly correct, but you feel me? It's in a moment and we're there. Pretty Brown Mimi mentioned Run DMC. Well, actually, I think it was back in August, Run DMC announced that they were doing their final show. Run said he was retiring from performing, so it's probably why you didn't see them, but they did participate in Hip Hop 50 celebrations. Fahima has a question for me. She said, Thug, Hammer was a member of a Christian rap group called the Holy Ghost Boys. Yeah, but that doesn't mean, well, one, I'm being facetious by saying that. I just meant, you know, he was in his thing. But two, if you know anything about Hammer, like I mentioned, people don't really understand that Hammer was from Oakland, right? And y'all think a lot of things, but understand Hammer was from Oakland in the 80s. Stanley Burrell, is that his last name? Yeah. He was slapping folks up on tour. Like, he was not for the play. And he had a whole crew. So, again, we can't Christian people got hands too. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. DJ Black 909 says, absent from the celebration was Professor Griff. Has he been let back into hip hop after what happened back in the day?
It's not going to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Immortal Technique.
Not going to happen.
The coup was, listen, I like the coup, but that was such a niche time. Do you know what I mean? Some of these acts that, though important, it's not that big of a deal. The Lynch Mob, come on, that's Cube. Nobody knows the other members of the Lynch Mob, and Q right now is kind of on the other side of things. He's not really rocking with a lot of people, right?
Rest in peace of Gonzo.
Yep. Shout out to Gonzo. X-Clan. I believe what is the lead? I like X-Clan, but you can't really play their music anymore because there are some subject matters and things that you can't say in 2023. 1990, cool. 2023, absolutely not cool. And, Funk and Lesson is still my jam. Poor Righteous Teachers, absolutely. But who's digging them up? They had one big single and, they had some other stuff after that. But Dead Prez, Paris, you talking about Paris, Bay Area Paris? Come on now, that's a deep cut. You're not going to see him on things. And Cam, you talking about Whoop Whoop Cam? West Side Riders at Whoop Whoop. You're not going to see Cam either. Now, maybe if there had been a West Coast celebration somewhere along the line, perhaps. But I don't know. Urban Spinster came through. T.I., JD, Glorilla, Jeezy, Lotto, Bun B, 3-6 Mafia, and Boosie all performed. So the South was represented. DJ Black, great point. DJ Black 909, great point. He mentioned that there was a lack of Latino representation as far as Kid Frost. Mitra Vosa was a jam, and I think it was the first one that kind of brought in that Latin element. Mellow Man Ace, same thing. I don't know who Lil Rob. Well, I've heard of Lil Rob. I can't think of his song off talk. Baby Bash, Daddy Yankee. All good things, but this is about, for the most part, they were talking about the golden era. And again, some of those are very niche. As much as it's been a topic of conversation how involved Latinos were as far as launching hip-hop. And again, they were there. They were around. They contributed. Did they do their own hip-hop 50 celebrations? Probably not, huh? They ain't even think about it. So, I don't know. Just leave that at that. Jill, Doug debuted the Dougie in the intro and the Keep Rising to the Top video. Yeah, that's what I said. The video where he was doing the Dougie. That's what I was trying to think. Marzella and others from Westchester Dance and BBD. It was Marzella. Is that Pluke? I can't remember Pluke's real name, but it was Pluke. It was Nikita. It was Deborah. That is who Deborah is, also the choreographer for the Sparks kids and dancers right now. I actually asked Deborah a couple weeks ago to come on the show, and she was traveling and doing some things for this. So I'm hoping that she will come on because I'd love to talk to her about the early dance days and, give you guys a peek into that. I'm going to revisit that with her. Please tell me Fat Joe wasn't there. Not sure, Pretty Brown Mimi, if he performed or not. Ball or not, you are definitely from LA because you're shouting out Paradise 24. We know their college Mondays were lit. There's a lot happening there. A lot of people went through there at that time. Let's see. What else? Oh, you guys are just going in. But let me get on my side about as far as Hammer. And we've kind of touched on it. Hammer was considered a sellout because Hammer had Pepsi commercials. He had the KFC commercial, which I'll admit, that felt a little embarrassing. I don't know why. That's just, I had to get over the feelings of seeing a black man dancing about fried chicken, right? That was then, though. Hammer had a cartoon and a doll and took America by storm. But when we got to, was that the second album that blew up? I think so. There were a few pop-esque songs because Hammer definitely was considered pop at that point. And his peers shunned him really, really badly. Hammer was the butt of a lot of jokes. A lot. and different artists have talked about over the years. And of course, right now, it's different. Time heals a lot of things. You can move on and turn around and look back and feel like, yeah, that wasn't exactly the right thing to do. But Hammer's like, nah, I'm going to hold on to it, And I think, anyway, he was pretty insular as far as his crew at the time. But across, as far as clicking up with other rappers of the time period or what have you, that wasn't really there. And, we don't know what conversations or what type of impact that had on his mental or his career at the time. So it's sad for us fans. And I hope Hammer knows what the fans feel about him. And I mean, let's face it, Hammer's really, really rich now. He's heavy into venture funds and investing. So, maybe he's like, I don't have time to put together, a choreographer or these things of that nature. I also feel like him saying things about fake, like no bodies have turned up, is a reminder that though you all thought Hammer was soft, he was really about that life behind closed doors. So, we go be easy with it. I do wish that we could have watched him perform in some capacity somewhere. And maybe, I know it won't be the Hip Hop 50 anymore, but maybe just the call for him, the fact that so many reacted on social media about not being able to see him, will inspire him to put together a performance or something in the future, right? So, we'll see. Andy.
Where's the fakeness that he's talking about, though? The industry or the fans?
He's talking about the industry, because having to go and be around all of those people, and a lot of those people, especially the other ones at the time, were talking trash, dissing, maybe never apologized, maybe said something that was wild, violating back then. And of course, we're 30 years later and everybody's an adult, but like Rick Ross said, God forgives, I don't. So it might be a case of that. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into what Ice Cube had to say about rappers like Hammer and Fresh Prince and Will Smith back in the day when he was on Arsenio Hall. All of that and more, you're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Hour 3 up next.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the